Welcome back to Bill's Bets and Beers. I'm the host, Chad, and some positive energy, I guess, coming after that win on Thanksgiving. Little late to publish this, but it just took me a little bit of time to actually get the time to make the video. But like I said, this is gonna be a video recapping the Bills versus Lions Thanksgiving game. It was a win, definitely stressful, but a win is a win. This is a channel, if you're new to it, where I talk about Bills football, the NFL in general, and I walk through my parlays I put in for the week. I do Monday, Sunday, and Thursday night football, as well as some Sunday parlays in there, just some normal Sunday game parlays. And then I occasionally do a tasty rating of a tasty brew, mostly IPA, local IPAs from the area. But let's get into this. Okay, let's get in first segment. I got my positives from the game. Singletary still rushing well. He was able to get 72 yards on 14 carries. That's huge. I mean, we haven't had a really big run presence up before the last two games, so it's nice to see Singletary still getting between that 70, 80 yard mark. He hasn't broke towards 100 like I thought he was going to do this game because of the defense, but I don't know. He was still running well. Just with the plays he was given, he was getting over 5 yards a clip, so that's good. But on the side note, I mean, Allen still outrushed him with 78 yards, which was definitely necessary this game. Which isn't nice to see our quarterback running, which already has an elbow injury, but we got the game won, and that's all that matters at this point. We're just hoping to keep the longevity of Allen, at least for this season to end it. That would be very nice. Next up, Allen to Diggs connection, strong when it needed, because beginning of the game again, it was very slow connection to Diggs. Diggs wasn't even targeted up until that touchdown, really. So to me, that was a little worrisome. Obviously, he probably was getting blanketed well. I didn't have a chance to rewatch the game and focus more on him to see what was going on. But I'm guessing they were blanketing him pretty heavy over there with probably two players, so probably made it a little bit harder for him to get open. So, not forcing it to him, getting it to the other players. I mean, obviously McKenzie had a huge game, so that was really good. I believe McKenzie was just over 100 yards receiving, or maybe just under. But he did get a nice touchdown and got a lot of targets. I mean, it was definitely a good game for McKenzie. He has to show up when in these times when he's targeted, because if not, the rookies Shakir might be taking that slot. So I mean, he has to show that he is our slot guy, at least to a certain extent. Okay. Well, yeah, that big play to Allen and Diggs when we had 23 seconds left, that was massive for the game. And the fact that Allen was able to come in clutch during that time and connect to his top receiver in that moment, that's great to see that we still have that connection when it's needed. And Allen still has that Captain Clutch in his blood at this point. Haven't been seeing it as much of late, but it's nice to see when we have to get it done, we can. Next up, I got really good thing, Trey White sighting. He was on the field. I mean, not for much, but he was there. I mean, if you blinked, you might have missed him. But he was still there. I mean, on certain plays. I figured, like I had figured in my other video, he was going to be on a snap count. I wanted to see him on a snap count. So it's nice to see him on the field. That was a good positive. Weirdly, I mean, not weird. It was going to be between Jackson or Kyer anyways, but I thought Elam's was going to get the start at CB2, to be honest. But I don't know, I put Jackson out there, and throughout the game, I'd be like, what is going on? Why is Jackson on the field still? And then I realized it was just him and Elam on the field. So they both had to be. So it's just weird. I can't wait for Trey White to be fully on the field for a full game, so then we don't have to worry about like who's on the other side. I'd feel a lot better with Elam there, because I don't know, something weird with Dane Jackson. Something like he hasn't been being the corner he was when like last year when Trey was out. He's getting burned a lot more this year and definitely getting picked on a lot, especially against two offenses. I mean, the Lions' offense is good, but like the Cleveland's offense was not that great. Yeah, Amari Cooper's a good wide receiver, but you think it just seemed like Jackson was more of a liability on the field in a sense. He made a couple big plays, like breaking some nice plays up on the field, but then on a lot of those plays and those third and longs, he was just getting picked on and get chunk yards or getting taken. That can't be happening, especially with the two quarterbacks we faced. I mean, Brissett looked like MVP quarterback against us last week, and then this week, same thing. A quarterback that's not that great. I mean, Goff isn't like a world beater. Everyone knows that, and when he's pressured, he usually doesn't play that well. But he was able to get quick passes off and convert these long third and downs, and sometimes on a fourth down. I mean, what are we doing? Like, what happens when we face Mahomes again in the playoffs? What happens when we come up against Tua, which he's getting towards the above average quarterbacks with how his play has been going, and then you have those wide receivers coming out. Like, our cornerbacks are gonna have to start stepping up a little bit. Anyways, these are still the positives, so I'll get to that later. Little ramble there. Ed Oliver, I think I said this before. I predicted him getting 2 sacks. He only ended up getting 1, but it was a huge sack. I mean, he came up even though he wasn't there all game. He was getting the pressure, but he made 2 big splash plays, which turned this game around. And especially with Von Miller going down and stuff, it's nice to see him doing his thing, especially with their weak middle of the offensive line. I mean, you had the starting center there, but he was injured up until the game. I don't think he got maybe he got a limited practice on Wednesday, if that. But he did not practice Monday, Tuesday, at least. So, and then you had the starting guard, and which was the backup center, also out, and then the other guard is out. So you got all these. That line was so weak in that front that Ed Oliver had to make a splash. That was nice to see that when he was needed, he showed up big. Same thing with AJ Klein, having him back was pretty nice because he made a lot of big plays, good tackling at least, and on a couple of them. And Milano was massive in this game again. I mean, we have to have at least Milano or Edmonds play at one time, and when they both can start, when Edmonds comes back and Milano's still there, that's going to be great. We definitely need our defensive line to get a little bit healthier before the end of this season. And I go into it's in the negative, so I'll talk about that later. But Von Miller will definitely be talked about. Then the run defense stepped up again. It's slowly getting better. It stopped Detroit to under 100 yards. I mean, that's counting the runs from Goff as well. So that's huge. I mean, I think Williams maybe had 40 yards, if that. I mean, that's massive. Williams got barely any yards compared to what he would. Yes, he scored a touchdown, but they got so close to the end zone, you know they're going to punch it in. Especially with the plays going back to a first and goal. It's just bound to happen, so you can't blame it too much on the defense not stopping him. But it was nice to see him only get 1 touchdown, and That was it. I mean, he didn't get many yards. And they're known for their at least running. I mean, their passing isn't as prevalent, and it was on Thanksgiving, which troublesome to see. But we'll definitely need that run defense to make another step up when we face the Patriots this coming up Thursday. Because Patriots, they make their money off the run. If you can stop Ramondre Stevenson in the run and those short pass game, that's most of their game to open up the other passing yards. So if you stuff them early like that, and Trey White's in there more, hopefully he plays at least half a game of snaps, then it's gonna turn out well. And having Edmonds back is gonna be huge, because that will free up Milano to go on Hunter Henry and kind of shut him down in a sense, because Hunter Henry is gonna get, if Milano's not following him well, then he's gonna get the yards. Like, another ramble, but I'm just thinking about that game coming up, and even though their offense is not that great, there are holes on our defense to be exploited, and I mean, they have a good head coach who can exploit stuff like that. So let's get into the negatives from the game. First up, been talking about it a little bit, that secondary play was brutal for the second game in a row. I mean, we're making these quarterbacks look good. Goff is not a bad quarterback, but he's not like, I'm gonna beat your defense type of quarterback. He's more of a, I'm gonna make a mistake because your defense is pressuring me guy. So sad to see that he was able to make a lot of splash plays. Just not good. And like I said, Jackson was getting cooked all day, and we did not. That's not good to see. He was getting picked on the most. Every single big completion seemed like it went around him, and you could see him getting visibly frustrated on the field, where he's like, "I'm not sure what's going on," but his energy and his confidence cannot be great. I'll tell you that much right now, because like he would go back and like they were beating him long, and then he would just run back without looking as much, and the guy would stop a couple yards before, and then he'd have to sprint back, and he already had the ball, and I mean he had to get the tackle. Not great to see, but facing another offense which isn't super high in the passing side, so hopefully he can get some confidence back, because we're going to need them to have confidence, because Trey White's not going to be full this coming up Thursday. I don't see him having a full game. I think he's still getting a snap count. Okay, next up, this offense. Definitely starting off very slow again for the second game in a row. Not a great sign. I mean, before this last game or so, it seemed like we started off. I mean, we still had 17 points by the end of the half. That's not a slow start, but just that first couple drives, we were going 3 and outs and doing that. It just wasn't good to see. I mean, when it comes down to other teams, especially when we allow them to score first, we cannot go out there. Like, I'll go back to the Browns game. If our defense would have allowed them to go up 14-0 in that first quarter, that game would have been a lot different. The energy would have shifted, meaning you're already down by 7. That's fine. That's one score. Once you get down by 2 scores, your energy shifts, your mentality shifts. Yes, good teams, they don't shift as much because, oh, that's fine. We got it. We don't have to worry about it. We can come back. That's no big deal. Yeah, the Bills couldn't do that. But considering what happened the other 2 games before that, they probably weren't in the greatest headspace, and that would have changed it. That would have changed the play calling. That would have changed everything. And it's like, with this game, if we would have went down again by a certain amount, that would have been just detrimental. Especially with how that Lions defense was playing us, and how the offense was going decently. It's just, we can't have things like that happen. Because if we go down, like, when we face a good offense, maybe the Dolphins coming up, or maybe the Bengals when it's a needed game, and we go down by 14 points. That's not going to be good for us. We need to at least come out the gate strong, get a field goal, hopefully a touchdown, or at least have the ball for a certain amount of time, because we can't be doing as many three and outs in the beginning. I mean, it was good to see. I mean, even the same thing that came back the other two games, like besides the last game, the 2 games before that, our scoring in the second half was miserable too. I mean, we had a safety, a touchdown, and a field goal. That safety saved the game for us. Huge play for Oliver in that. But, yeah, it's just not good to see. Our offense needs to start playing better because we can't do that stuff against really good teams. A team that actually has a good defense. I mean, we've been going against defenses like the Browns and the Lions. They don't have great defenses. And when we go up against one that does, that actually gets pressure on the quarterback often and does well against tackling him, I mean, and has a good secondary that will pick off balls and make, if you throw any mistake in it, it's just something to look forward, something to look towards, and might be a little worrisome at this point. But enough about that. Let's go on. Von Miller got carted off the field. That was not a good thing to see. Very worried. But it was a good sign that it's not torn. But he's going to need a surgery. Either after the season. Because that if he gets that surgery, it's going to be it could be 4 to 5 weeks, they said. And, I mean, we got like 6 weeks now. 6-7 weeks before the postseason. So I mean, like, kind of need him before then. But I mean, if we gave him 3 weeks off to figure out 3 weeks off to kind of rest up and then come back in with a brace and play, and then he gets hurt again, who knows? So I mean, I think that's going to be that decision's going to come down to Von and see what he wants to do at this point. So will be definitely interesting, but he's going to be missed. Other people are going to have to step up now. Ed Oliver was showing something and stepping up. Hopefully we get Greg Rousseau back soon. He's been out 2 games with probably like the high ankle sprain if it's been this long. So hopefully he's able to come back this week or next week after that big 10-day break we have. 10 or 9 day break we have. So will be nice to get Rousseau back on the field because he's definitely missed. But yeah, Von's been already ruled out against the Pats. Pretty obvious, but we have a week after that he got injured, so didn't expect to see him anyways. Allen threw another red zone interception. Not great to see. That is just so. It's just, especially with all years and years of not having barely any of those. Like that was one of the things he was known for, not throwing red zone interceptions. And now he's had 7 or 6 throughout this year. That's not a good sign. I mean, definitely forcing in areas where maybe that shouldn't be, but at least they made up for it with a really good throw at the end when the pressure was on. 2 digs to get us into field goal range with 23 seconds left. That's huge to see. It's just we need to see more clutch plays and less just bad interceptions that have been going on. Obviously, I think his elbow was more affected with the short week back to back in a sense. So definitely didn't help out too much. I talked about this briefly earlier. The defense is still having that trouble of stopping those 3rd and longs and 4th downs. It's just very frustrating when you get a nice good stop on the 1st down. Then you You stop them pretty decently on the second down. So we got like a 3rd and 8 plus. And then they just get 16 yards on a pass. When it seems like, why was no one covering the only guy that's making catches? Like St. Brown, he was the only guy going out there and getting all these catches. And it's like, how are you not having someone on him and being like, hey, watch him. He's made the last catches to convert like 3rd downs or to like extended plays. Just watch this guy. And it just seemed like it was always Jackson on him. So maybe that was the problem, but I don't know. Definitely a conversation that has to be held where it's like, what is going on with our secondary at this point? Because our secondary is the one making these 3rd down and 4th down conversions really happen. Yes, there's a lot of 4th and shorts that we let happen. Like they're hard to stop sometimes, but we did stop and we stopped it in the beginning, so that was good to see. So it wasn't something that wasn't like fully there. So we did have we don't do bad in the 3rd and shorts usually. It's a lot of those 3rd and longs where we get into trouble, I think. So not a good thing to see, because I don't feel any relief when we get to a 3rd and 15 anymore. Or 3rd and 12. I'm like, come on, we gotta stop him this time. That's more the mentality I have. It's like holding my breath in a sense. Instead of like let's get up and go get another beer. No, it's not. Now we have to hold our breath, and it's not good to see. Because we were good at stopping those 3rd and longs. We just have to get back to playing that type of game and getting a better showing out there sometimes. I got to my other segment, because that's the end of the negatives. There are probably more negatives, but don't want to get overwhelmed with too much. Injury to insult. O-line health. Mitch Morse is already out this game, which I was saying I was very worried about that. I did not like him being out. If you noticed, throughout the game, there was a lot of high snaps, and it was making me hold my breath on some of those things where Allen, a 6'5", like, monster, had to go and catch the ball up high on a snap. That's not normal where he has to extend his arms that far, and it probably didn't make plays go out too well. So definitely was a factor in the game, but just not good to see. We need to see Mitch Morse out there who's comfortable under center and not Ryan Bates. So, and then Deion Dawkins, he got injured during the game and didn't come back in. Maybe he's out a week or two, or who knows, maybe he's going to play, because they had like a report on him in practice where he was able to walk around, and I mean, he's still on the sidelines doing things throughout when the game was going on. So, I mean, hopefully he could either come back this week, which would be nice to see, or at the latest next week, the game after that, because we have, like I said, we have that good 9-10 day between that Thursday night game and the Sunday night or Saturday night game after that. So I forgot if it's a flex game or not, but it's a good little gap there. So good to see. And I believe we're facing that'll be against the Bears. Yeah, because the Jets game is going to be after that one. So, yeah. So definitely something to watch out for. I think it's going to be very interesting with that O-line health at this point. Offense, just the struggles against bad defenses. And that's just, our offense is supposed to be very good, which it has the opportunity to be very well. I mean, we're not scoring like little points. We still scored 28 points to win the game, but we never should have been in that situation at the end to begin with. We're going up against a bad defense, one of the worst. They let people get the most yards, most points, and most touchdowns. Everything most against them mostly in those fields. So it's like, how did it come down to getting a field goal with 5 seconds left in the game? Or how did it come down to us getting the ball with 23 seconds left in the game to go up by 3? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But we definitely have to step our game up on that side. I mean, both sides of the ball didn't play well. It was very it was not a great game to watch for your health in a sense. Then Allen just didn't play well. Like not that he didn't play well. He looked like he was affected by having that short week with his elbow, and then having all those runs in there. And now we have not a short week, but not a long week coming off a Thursday game. We have another Thursday game. So it's like it's gonna be a normal week, and it's gonna be very interesting with the amount of pressure and stuff that's been on his elbow the past 2 weeks with two games in 5 days. I mean, how much not rehab but resting is he gonna need to be back to a little bit better, at least health wise in his elbow, making him feel more comfortable, because the Patriots defense is gonna come gunning for him. Judon's been going off the rails, so we're gonna just have to keep him up on his feet back there during this Patriot game coming up. Okay, let's get into some upcoming videos. I'm gonna be doing Sunday Night Football plus Sunday game parlay and preview this tonight. I'll probably do a video very shortly and drop it later tonight, and then I'll be doing a Monday Night Football preview and parlay, and then the Bills vs. Pats preview and prediction. I'll probably drop the preview prediction on Monday or Tuesday, just because the game's going to be on a Thursday, and then because I'll be dropping a Wednesday night parlay and maybe a little bit more updates for the Bills, because you're not going to get all these updates by Monday or Tuesday when I'm going to record it. So that's going to be it for that section. And then obviously I have to get to my sponsors. If you have Instagram, go check out Crochet with Elisha, Elisha, and with is all spelled out. So check her out. It's my wife. She does a lot of good products. She makes hats, mittens, gloves. 'Tis the season. She makes them for kids, adults, toddlers, anything you could think of, even little babies. She even makes cardigans, jackets for adults and kids as well, and blankets. I mean, dolls with stuffing in it. Anything you could think of, she's made it all. So definitely check her out. She has a lot of stuff on her Instagram. And then if you find something that's not on there that you'd like, you could even send her that, and she'll look up how to make it, and she could tell you hey, what color would you like, and then she'll make sure she gets the yarn for it and all that fun stuff, and she'll give you a good estimate of the cost. Then Mr. Nasty Time, that's my buddy Evan. He has a channel on YouTube as well. Check him out. It's MR_NASTYTYYME. He does a lot. He's been doing a lot of streaming on there through his PlayStation for Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.0. He's been playing that a lot. The content's always funny. The conversations are definitely interesting. So if you're up for just a interesting round of banter on there, just check it out. The chat's funny as hell. You also see me on there occasionally playing with him. Then he also does a lot of NFL content as well. He pumps out weekly power rankings, all 32 teams. So that's definitely a big content. Usually it's about an hour-long video, but it's definitely worth the watch. He puts a lot of effort, and he knows his stuff, so he's talking straight from the heart with a lot of this stuff going on there and going off of facts. He does a lot of research to make these videos, to make them very very good for the viewer. And then he also does some UFC previews for the fights, going through the cards, saying how these fighters fight, how they do their stuff, and so on and so forth. He knows fighting very well, so he could probably help you win a couple UFC bets like that. But go check him out. Definitely worth the like and the subscribe. Then my future sponsor, New Belgium Voodoo Ranger. New Belgium makes a lot of good beers, but their Voodoo Ranger is one of the best beers I've had. They have a lot of beers underneath that faction as well. Check out my favorite one, Juice Force. very good. It's 9.5%. It's still a hazy, and it doesn't have that much of a kick at all. It tastes like a 6.57% beer. I mean, it's just wild to think jumping up that much to 9.5 and it has that percentage. So definitely check it out. You can get a can for like between 250 and 350, and they're like 19-ounce cans. Just get 2 of those, you'd be good. You'd be set for the night, especially if you're not used to high percentage beers. But that's gonna be it. If you like this content, give me a like and subscribe. Leave a comment with any feedback. Positive, negative, it's all welcome. But that's gonna be it for me, and peace. I'm out. Go Bills.